I'm secretly in love with my sister-in-law, and it's tearing me up inside. No, she doesn't know. No, she doesn't feel the same way. No, I don't plan on telling her. It's 6:01 in the morning and I've been up all night. We'll call her Kelly. She's somehow girl next door cute and the most attractive woman I've ever seen. When I was in college, she was a bartender at the sports bar in town. All of my friends would shoot their shots and she was never interested. And then we found out she had this big muscular boyfriend and we all made gross jokes about her that make me cringe when I think about them. I thought she was hot but wasn't really that interested in her. I met my now wife when I was finishing undergrad. My wife is a bit older and was finishing her master's. She told me her brother lived in town, and we planned to have lunch with him after we had been seeing each other for a bit. The brother, we'll call him Bill, is massive. My wife is tall and well built but Bill is 6 feet 4 inches with huge hands and a perpetual 5 o'clock shadow. And holding his hand was Kelly, the hot bartender with the big muscular boyfriend. That lunch was 13 years ago. My feelings for Kelly developed very slowly. I never intended to fall in love with her but honestly, everyone around her does. She's smart and kind and possibly the funniest person I've ever met. She is hilarious. She doesn't judge anyone. She comes at everyone with understanding and kindness, no matter how they come at her. And probably most importantly, she's a fabulous mother. My wife and I had agreed to have children eventually but then she changed her mind. I respect her decision, but it hurts. And once Kelly and Bill started having kids, they have 3 kids, 5 and under, and talk about having more, it hurt a lot more. They're not rich but they live comfortably. Kelly doesn't work outside of the home. I never thought I would feel this way but I am intensely jealous of their life. Kelly is basically a tradwife. She's a fabulous cook. She makes everything from scratch, including fresh pasta and grinding her own meat for burgers. Some of my favorite meals we have at their house. Their house is cute and clean and lived in, not perfect by any means, but so homey and comfy. So many thoughtful details, and so well organized. The kids are adorable and funny and she's clearly such a loving and patient mom. I'm sure some of this is the grass being greener. My wife is very ambitious and career-oriented and I'm constantly impressed by her drive and what she's accomplished. She doesn't really like to cook or clean and I don't expect her to, but I'm jealous that Bill comes home to a hot meal and a neatly made bed every day. The other thing about my wife is that she's pretty judgmental. I used to not think much of it, but then I realized how much of that judgment is directed at Kelly. She judged her for working in bars, and for caring about her appearance. Kelly is really into fashion and skincare and working out, but I've never heard her talk about it with anyone who didn't ask her about it. And then when they decided Kelly would stay home with the kids, my wife really ramped up her judgmental barbs. My wife's mother plays into it as well. I hate to say this but I think they're jealous because my wife's father was a big jerk in general and she always had to work and clean and cook because he didn't do anything. And I know my wife loves her job and career but it's stressful and tiring. Kelly seems really happy at home. I didn't mean for it to be this way but every time my wife says something negative about Kelly, I feel for her more, and for my wife less. I can't avoid her or let on how I feel but I think about her constantly. Whenever she compliments me, which is often, that's just what she's like, it stays with me for weeks. She does this little head tilt when she notices something she likes, and she does this little arm motion I can't really describe, but that's how you know she likes something you're wearing or she's about to compliment something you said. The way she offers a snack, she just puts it down and says, "Are you hungry?" Instead of making it awkward. She remembers what everyone likes to drink and what their favorite candy is and keeps it around for when they visit. She remembers everyone's birthdays. She buys the most thoughtful presents at Christmas. There are always jokes about spotting which wrapping paper she chose this year. I guess I should be grateful I get to be around her as much as I am. My friends from college still joke about it all the time. And I laugh along and shrug them off and say she isn't even that hot but inside hearing them objectify her for her appearance kills me. She's an incredible, magical person. I think I would be in love with her even if she was a fat ugly man. I don't know why I'm typing all of this out. It seems dumb now. It's too long to delete though. If you read it all, I appreciate it. I just want to be able to talk about Kelly and obviously I can't anywhere else. Edit, to address a couple of things I keep seeing in the comments. 1. My wife started hinting about a year after we got married that she had changed her mind about kids. She told me very casually one day 3 years ago that kids are off the table. I asked if we could go to counseling about it and she said there was no point in us both going to therapy since she was comfortable with the decision and only I had a problem with it. I've asked a few more times and been met with the same response. I've been upfront about being upset about this but at the same time I would never pressure someone into having kids. That's a recipe for disaster. 2. I don't want my own tradwife. Sorry if people don't like that term, I thought it was common. I don't want my current wife to be a homemaker, she would hate that. I don't want her to pump out babies if that's not what she wants. I am enamored with Kelly, and I admire how good she is at what she does. 3. These feelings really came to the surface after my wife told me she didn't want kids. It was soon after they had their second and everyone in the family was over the moon and it was just very heartbreaking for me. 4. I've realized I do really want children. I'm 35 and healthy so I have a fair amount of time. I'm going to sit my wife down at some point in the near future to discuss it. I'm sure many of you will be delighted to hear it's likely the end of my marriage and the end of my connection to Kelly, which is probably a good thing.